Good evening, Pisces. I believe it's Saturday, February 5th. And let me explain. You don't see my normal desk or my ring light or anything that I normally have lately. Not because you're not important, but because apparently this reading was so important that it needed to get out before I could get home. Long story short, I am babysitting some non-human children, namely one canine and two cats. So I'm going to apologize in advance for the any interruptions due to my allergies and for the lack of my normal setup. But the angels were really insistent that this get out. I've been kind of procrastinating on it for a few hours, and they've been really insistent. So I went ahead and set up the best I could. We're going to go ahead and go with it. Their viewpoint on it is that the message is more important than the trappings, as long as the message gets out. And given what the message is, I can understand that energy. So let me get started. I did pray. I'm going to go ahead and pray again in a second, just for everyone else that wants to participate in that prayer so that they can. But I prayed, cleansed my energy, asked Heavenly Father to make me an empty vessel as usual so that I could receive this message. I do see the importance of this. Well, let me say the prayer first. Let's get in, and then we'll get into it. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the power and the kingdom and the glory forever and ever. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. Okay, so I did 2 videos yesterday that I finally got uploaded today. They were, I had originally been drawn to do it as one long video, and in some ways I'm glad I didn't, because it would have gone into 3 hours. In other ways, I'm sorry, Pisces, but if you want to get the fullness of this message, you might want to refer to both of those videos, because the first one I cut off at about an hour. It was a message for, it had a lot in there that would benefit any tarot reader, any psychic, anybody doing like healing type energy. But it was there was a good majority that was very specifically for, like, I could see a very specific new tarot reader, female. And then there was some, I'm guessing that even though this is an astrological reading, and they did reassure me this is not true of all the signs, I was just strongly picking up, and possibly because I was about to do the Pisces. If I had not, they probably would have waited for me to do the Pisces before they had me do those videos, because whoever I was picking up on, this young tarot reader, I believe is a Pisces. So there is a early 20s. I can still remember seeing her. She was early 20s female, shorter hair, just kind of getting into the tarot type stuff, a little hesitant about it. I don't know that you're going to be doing YouTube or anything public. It was just that you're learning about it. It's part of your learning process and tools as you learn your own healing path, whatever that might be. They didn't show me. Now, having said that, there is more to this, and it is coming up specifically in this Pisces reading. Now, if you go, and I'm going to encourage you to go over to the second video then that was done for the twin flame community and the energy that is going on with that. There will be another video because there's a clarification I need to make. But since you're already having to watch both, if you are this Pisces, and for any other Pisces that happen to watch those videos, I'll make the clarification short. There was some confusion, and I mentioned it in the video about the Mardi Gras and the Day of the Dead, because I kept from some angels I was getting, I kept feeling and hearing, and the impression was Day of the Dead. But I also kept hearing them say Mardi Gras, and they clarified that there's an energy that was going on in the twin flame community, which there's a reason I'm mentioning here. There's something here about this. And so those that are coming into union, that peak of the majority of them coming into union will be around Mardi Gras, which is in March. And the end of that wave is going to fall around the Day of the Dead. I believe that's in November. So roughly a month before the whole new cycle starts, which makes a lot more sense to me now. So having said that, there's a reason for that. So let me get into this reading. So they did have me pull the cards, and I'm going to explain how I did it. They had me shuffle and then split the deck once. The first time I split it, this is what came out. And this card was in one of those readings, I believe the twin flame reading. And it's the Chariot. And in that reading, they discuss, they were discussing the the need for, in that case, it was the feminine, but they're emphasizing now we're not doing divine masculine and feminine, we're doing the Pisces, which is more about the astrological energy that influences each person. It influences their path at the time of their birth, which is why we choose to be born when we choose to be born. But as the planets move and affect the earth, just like the moon affects the tides, it affects our energies as well. So this is not, whereas the other reading was more about the feminines, this is more about the feminine creative energy within each Pisces. And it won't matter whether you're man or woman, masculine or feminine. We both hold that we all hold both inside of us. So what they're saying is that energy is very strong in Pisces right now, because Pisces is being affected very strongly by a lot of the planetary movements right now. And that energy, it's going to be the same as what they were talking about in that reading, though, which is combining your root chakra energy, your passions and your creativity, with your throat chakra energy, which rules your communication, with that, which would be the way in which you express that passion. And I'm not talking about sexual passion right now. I'm talking about passions for life, your path. And it may not be your life path in terms of what you do for a living, but this is more about what you do to express yourself, to keep yourself mentally healthy, is what they're saying. So whether that's art or photography or writing or singing or just talking to people, there is, that is the energy that is being picked up, which is again, it's going to be, if you want a more detailed explanation of how that's affecting twin flames, and I get that's because there's a few Pisces that will be drawn into this reading that are also on a twin flame journey. Not to say that all Pisces are, but there will be a few. If you want more clarification about how that energy is going to affect you, because it will affect you even stronger, because you've got the duality of that, or double dose of it, I should say, not duality, but the double dose of it, then definitely go back and watch that video. For those of you who are Pisces but not on the twin flame journey, you just have that singular dose in terms of it's just learning to kind of combine that within yourself and express yourself. However, the obstacle in that expression is the Herald of Swords. Oops, I meant to. That's where there's a reason she was like, okay, so the Herald of Swords. Sorry, there's no editing that, but we'll just do this from here on in. I just noticed that. Now, see, most of this, that part, they gave me a little piece of it that was the same in terms of the oh, and when you mix the, when the root chakra meets the throat chakra, that purple light, that's when it increases your intuitive ability. You're not quite saying that right. Opening all of the chakras can increase your intuitive ability, but you also need the crown chakra for that. But when okay, so what they're showing me is, like, if you wanted to grow your intuitive ability, that would be done by opening all the chakras, especially your crown chakra. However, what they're showing me is that when you combine the root chakra and your throat chakra energy, the blue and red creates purple. It's basic. 5-year-olds learn that. Purple, and again, this is in the other video, but purple is, from a healer's perspective, it is considered, if you see that in the aura, it's an indication that someone is highly intuitive. What they're explaining to me is that when you combine your passion with your communication, it's pulled in. Oh, okay, that makes sense. It's pulled in with that intuitive, it's using the same energy that you would have. Whereas if you're trying to increase your gifts and you're opening your chakras and you're opening your crown chakra, you're actually opening yourself to the universal energy, to the matrix, and pulling other information that you wouldn't otherwise have. But you're using the same faculties, only going within yourself instead of outside of yourself. When you combine your root chakra with your throat chakra energy and you bring forth that creativity, it's still it's a process of flowing. Okay, that's why they wanted me to talk about that, because it can't be forced. It's a process of allowing it to flow through you, to allow the passion to be the fire that then ignites the energy and allows it to flow through you in your creativity. Okay. And I apologize, they did not have me do all of this in advance, so I don't know how long this is going to be. I got to pull the cards, but I have no idea what the meanings are behind everything yet. They did just draw my attention, though, to her broken wing. So, whereas the Herald of Swords is the equivalent of the Page of Swords, so a messenger of truth. But in this deck, she has a broken wing. Now, I'm going to skip forward for a second. They had me pull these cards earlier. These are the ones I'm creating, and we'll go into this more later, but here's part of your message, and I'll explain it in a minute. So this obstacle that's keeping you from allowing that creative expression to come through in the way in which it's supposed to come through, it's you. It's wounding from your past that is keeping you from speaking your truth. And when you can't speak your truth, and it doesn't mean that you aren't allowed to veil something. A lot of artists have have hidden meanings within their paintings, or they express themselves through photos, but they never speak a word about their own pain. Same with writers. Writers will hide themselves in their book all the time. But you aren't even, you're not allowing yourself, it's not that you're not able, you're not allowing yourself to fully express yourself because there is this, they're saying the word stigma. There is the pain from the past. Somebody clipped your wings. So when you've tried to express yourself in the past, so that's the energy that the Pisces are going through. It's overcoming judgments from others. So whereas somebody had clipped your wings in the past, told you that you weren't good enough, or it wasn't going to pay enough, so therefore it wasn't worth doing, you should follow something different, instead of just allowing yourself to do what you really love to do. And you don't have to make a career of it. Nobody says that you can't have a hobby. That's what hobbies are for. They're amazingly beautiful. They help us to express ourselves. I have a hobby. It does not pay money. It never will. I'm never going to be good enough at crocheting to make money. I shouldn't say never, but not anytime soon am I going to be great enough to make money at crocheting. Even if I was amazing at it, the cost of yarn plus time spent for what you could sell a piece for does not make fiscal sense. But I love doing it. It's relaxing, so I do it anyway. And that's kind of their message, is they're saying right now is the time to go ahead and do it anyway. The hobby that you've wanted to do, the project that you wanted to do, it's overcoming whatever these people in the past have said to discourage you from doing something that you would otherwise love to do. That is the general energy. Then they had me pull again, split the deck again. And on the bottom of the top part that I split was the Emperor. And underneath of the top part of the bottom half of it was the Queen of Wands in reverse. Now I got immediate energy from the Queen of Wands in reverse. But for whatever reason, the Queen of Wands in reverse is under the Emperor. It is what is behind the masculine energy, what is affecting the masculine energy. And this Queen of Wands is it's like the energy of excuse me. I'm hearing choosing your head over your heart. This Queen of Wands, the Queen of Wands in the upright, right? She's soft, she's feminine, she's beautiful. She has her torches lit. It's not even on fire. It's not dangerous. It's just illuminated. It's beautifully lit. But she's put herself in reverse. And because the feminine energy, and this is going to be for masculine men or women, because we both have both energies. So and I apologize for the cat hair on the couch. It's just what happens when you have cats. My children have cats. So this Queen of Wands is It is the feminine energy, the creative energy within you. Whether you're a man or a woman dealing with this energy, it just is what it is. It is the creative energy within you. This masculine is what's front and center, and that's the head part, the emperor. Now, if you're talking about a singular person as the emperor, the characteristics of that are someone who is sure of themselves, bold, balanced, caring, kind, compassionate. So what I get is that to the outside world, you've got this masculine energy completely handled. And if you're a male, that may look great to the outside world. If you're a female and you're completely in your masculine, you might have some struggles from it. And no, there's nothing wrong with that. If we're a single woman, I get into my masculine sometimes, and it causes issues because you can't be soft and hard at the exact same time. But that's kind of what this is showing, is the emperor is also someone who, although they're good at business, they're good at managing their money, they're good at a lot of things, in normal circumstances, they're well balanced. Their masculine and their feminine is balanced. But what it's showing me is, although this is what's kind of appearing to the outside world, what's happening underneath is that the feminine aspect of you, the creative side of you, again, does not matter if you're male or female, we all have testosterone and estrogen. We all have creative abilities and logical abilities. Some of us are better than others at being logical. Some of us are better than others at being creative, and 100 degrees in between. You'll know if this resonates for you because you will have a strong desire to create something, to be doing something, but you'll be hesitating. And that's what they're talking about. This clipped wing, this past energy of having your wings clipped, of being told that it wasn't good enough or it wouldn't pay the bills, is what is making this masculine energy come front and center. Be logical, be logical, be logical. Well, okay, you're logical. Grow up, act your age, be logical. Okay. Unfortunately, what that does is that suppresses all the feminine creative energy. And that is not a healthy mix. If within you it was more like this, at least that's a bit more balanced. I mean, it may not be emperor to empress, which would be equally matched energy. But few of us are 100% equally matched anyway. That's a whole other video I've already done. But the Queen of Wands in reverse shows me that this is not at all even close to balanced. The next one that they had me do, again, the first one was split the deck again. And I got the Hermit. And I dropped the ball on the underlying energy. They wanted a specific one. And so, I shouldn't say I dropped the ball. They're correcting me, but it took me a minute to understand how important getting a very specific card was going to be, because I know they could have just given me the message about what the Hermit was about. But they wanted a confirmation card, and this is why I said that the other reading came up, was important, because not only did this card come up in that twin flame reading, but so did this. So for the Pisces that are on their twin flame journey, there is going to be a need for the rest of the February to kind of go into hermit mode, to hold on, they want me to look at this more closely. There's two messages in this card. They're drawing my attention to the number of lights that are left on. The light in the house in the back, the light back here, the light that is being held, the faces of the women, the faces of the men, the faces of the other men. There's ghosts, and I don't mean like real ghosts in this case. I mean like memories of the past, most likely connected to this energy right here, but also potentially, and that would be the childhood stuff, also potentially connected to whatever your last significant couple of partners may have said or done to kind of dampen that energy. There is they're drawing me back to that specific Pisces again, that specific young woman. And I just asked them why they couldn't have just given me all of this in the other reading that had so much, like I was talking about to this specific person so much. And I guess it was, they wanted that reading to be more for the general collective, and they didn't necessarily need the general collective to know that it was Pisces. Excuse me. It also explains the split in the other two videos. Whereas the twin flame journey video was for those of us who have been on that twin flame journey for a while. It was specifically for people who have met and been engaged with, and I mean quantum physically, quantum entanglement wise, entangled with their twin flame for a while. They've met them, they've talked to them, they've gone on a few dates at least. You know, they're on that journey already. This Pisces, this specific Pisces, is not on that journey yet. She has not met her twin flame yet, which is why that part of the message was not for her. This part is. This is the same energy that was in the twin flame one about communicating, and we're supposed to step on our path. But she has her twin flame still coming in. Now, in the other reading, this gentleman could have been the new person, or it could have been the twin flame. For the Pisces, for this particular young woman, this is exclusively, this is her twin flame energy. This is what will be coming in, and it's going to be just like it is for most twin flames, very usually very passionate at first, very exciting, very connected. Now, again, not all of the Pisces are on a twin flame journey, and for those Pisces that are not on the twin flame journey, that's why the Hermit card came out first by itself. So this, for the Pisces that are on the twin flame journey, and especially for that one who's meeting just her twin flame. And for the rest of you, for the rest of the Pisces on the twin flame journey, again, if you watch that twin flame DM, you may be already on your twin flame journey. If you're not the early 20-year-old female with the short blonde hair, okay? For those of you that are on that twin flame journey, you can watch the other video. It will go in much more into depth about what this is and the meaning behind it. And I'm drawn to emphasize it was something in that when it came up then, but that I felt but was not guided to include, which I think Pisces are really closer to a union with their significant other. This, I don't know if you can see it like I see it. When you look at it from a little further away, this almost looks like a wedding bouquet. And that's what it looked like to me then. It looked like he had just given her flowers. Like he had just gifted her this, the pentacles, the stability. And it's very much, and if you also notice, especially I did not notice this in the other reading. So again, I believe that the Pisces who are on the twin flame journey are closer to being in union than, say, somebody else. Because he is just, like, she's kind of gray. She's been alone. She's been in the dark. She's been kind of almost in a state of having just given up. And he is filling her with his own light. She's just being warmed up from the inside. And I believe that the Pisces that are on this twin flame journey are much closer to being in union with their twin flame, or should their twin flame have chosen to not step up to the plate, with someone else, a higher soulmate that will still fulfill the majority of what's going on. And they had a really good thing to say to me. I was a little upset after that reading because I don't like the idea of settling. In my head, it was settling. And so I apologize if my soulmate is out there somewhere, the higher, backup one. But that's the way I was looking at it. The twin flame, because I've seen both energies for myself anyway. I had felt both energies. And and the best way to put it is, if you had a list, and I'm going to shorten this, but if you had a list of your perfect partner, and there were 10 things on your list, okay? And I'm saying this, and I am going to repeat this in the clarifying video that I'm going to have to put out, the bonus reading, but because I get the feeling that the Pisces are so much closer right now because of the energy that you're going through, and that need to step into your path, the need to balance this energy, to do your shadow work, which we'll talk about in a second with the Hermit card. I think it's more important that I express this right now, which is that the way I had been looking at it was that and I'm sure if you're like, the list for your significant other is going to have any number of qualifications. We're all different. But let's pretend that it only had 10. Well, your twin flame would be able to check off all those 10. They may not right this second because they're not fully in their emperor state. They haven't fully gone through all of their lessons, just like you may not be ticking off all 10 of theirs because you're not fully developed yet. But when both of them are in alignment, it's 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10 of the things that will make you the happiest. Not necessarily what you think you want, but what you knew you wanted before you got here. Your higher self, okay? Let's clarify, your higher self. The higher soulmate may only click off 9 of those. Well, the way I was looking at it, sorry, sweet kitty, you got to get down. The way I was looking at it was I didn't want to settle for 9 out of 10 if I waited, have 10 out of 10. But the message I had gotten with right after the other reading, when I was questioning some of the things in the reading, was that I was looking at it like that. But the fact of the matter is that some of the masculines, for a whole host of reasons, which I'll go into in the clarifying video, but some of the masculines may choose not to step up. They choose not to walk this path. And if that's the case, then, okay, yes, you're not getting the 10 out of 10 checks that you had hoped for when you came into this 3D experience. But at the same time, if you stay waiting for somebody who is absolutely determined that he knows more than God and he knows more than his higher self, or she, masculine and feminine, but they know more than God, and they know more than their higher selves, and it doesn't matter how much they feel, they're going to completely stay in their head mode, or they're going to listen to other people, or they're, for again, a whole host of reasons. If for whatever the reason is, they do not come forward, then you have a choice. You either go about your journey completely alone, which is going to make it harder to do, because we weren't set to do that. That's why we made the choice to come down with our twin flame to help with this. When you're a healer, it can be very overwhelming, and sometimes you don't always win. I mean, sometimes you try to help somebody, and no matter how hard you try to help, they still do something that is harmful to themselves or to somebody else. Or just knowing that the whole world is in a muck right now can be overwhelming for an empath. For a lot of reasons, it's really hard to walk the path alone 100% of the time. And so we weren't set to do that. That's not what we had chosen to do. Now we can choose now. We still have free will. We can choose to wait. We can choose to not do whatever. And some of us will be guided to do that. Don't get me wrong. Some of us will be guided to wait for the twin flame. But for those of us that are getting guided, and I should say not say us because I'm not yet. I'm being guided to wait. But for those people who are being guided to not wait, who have, especially these Pisces who have already stepped up into they're stepping up into this part of it, which is really close to taking on the fullness of your mission, if you will. If the twin flame does not come in and this higher soulmate comes in, 9 out of 10 points is way better than 0 out of 10. So you have to ask, what are you going to settle for? You can settle for 0 out of 10, or you can settle for 9 out of 10. Trust your own instinct. Do not, don't just say, oh, okay, well, there's this ex that I'm waiting for, and this reader, Rebecca, said that I should just go with this new guy. No. You have to ask God. This is a general message. There are both people on this path. Now, here's one of the ways in which you will know. As you are healing your inner child wounds, the advice is to go into hermit mode. Well, there's a lot of the ghost energy I was talking about. That is a past trauma, past life trauma, and past trauma. Past life regression can be valuable in uncovering some of that. And I would include, for me, past life is anything from the relationship you're not currently in, all the way back to any lifetime that you have lived before being born in this one. Because the energy follows forward. So you might have a lifetime that was in the 1800s and had an experience there or a lesson there, and then met up with somebody in this lifetime 3 boyfriends ago that repeated it, that you had known in the 1800s, that you had had a relationship with in the 1800s. So you would need to clear both energies, both that past and the current lifetime. So to me, it's all connected. That's the feeling I get from these images. Like, I literally see people throughout all of this mist, and I very much get an energy of ooh, that's weird. Of that past, and that's what I was saying is when I say ghost, I don't mean ghosts as in people who are living coming back to haunt you. I mean the residual energy, the marks that it has left on your aura field, the marks that it's left in your energy field. This is the third time the word giant has come up, and I'm not getting a lot of clarification. Because the giant is holding the light. I just asked. I asked if something was overwhelming, if that's why it appeared as a giant to me, and they said no. Now here's a fire pick. Interesting. He's holding a fire pick over his shoulder. That is known for you poke the wood with it to keep the fire lit, to get it to burn brighter. Somehow this person is keeping a fire lit for you. In fact, it feels like he just came back from stroking the fire. I get the feeling that someone is waiting for you to do this work. Someone is waiting for you to do the hermit mode, or to go into your hermit mode and to do your healing. And I get the feeling it's almost like a guardian. It's not like it's this person himself is actively doing anything. It's more like it's the guardian of that individual. Now, if you're a masculine, male or female, on the twin flame journey, then no, sweetie, this still applies. And you can look at this both ways, because in all honesty, when twin flames come together, they light each other up from within. They feed each other energetically. And it's not like an energy vampire thing. It's like at least not in a healthy twin flame situation. It's literally like you can almost feel your twin flame's angst. You can feel their need for energy. It's like a little tug, like when a child pulls on mom's tailcoat and she's doing something. She might have to take a minute to stop what she's doing, and then she turns around and willingly gives her child a hug. It's that same kind of unconditional love. So the twin flames, in a healthy twin flame relationship, whether they're in union or not, in a healthy twin flame relationship, they may feed each other. Not feed off of each other, but willingly feed each other. You may feel the tug of your twin flame, and then all of a sudden have this burst of memory of all of these good moments and these happy times and feel better. Or you may feel your twin flame around you and feel comforted. This can also happen with a higher soulmate as well. Twin flames are not the only ones that can connect energetically. From experience, I know this. So you can be with a higher soulmate and feel a connection when they're not around. That kind of soul connection, you feed each other. You can feel when one person needs the other, just like children and mothers have a connection. Husbands and wives who've been together a long time often have a connection. That connection is a soul connection. Okay? This person is waiting for you to do the healing work before they can come in. The advice for the collective, Amber came up. Harmony, home protection, calm attracts love. But there was a message to me, or that they started talking about this, and I didn't understand what they were talking about, or why they were saying it the way they understood it. I understand what they're talking about. Amber, some of the most valuable amber you'll ever find is actually amber that has a bug in it or a leaf in it, and it's because especially the older amber, amber is a resin that when it has that bug or that leaf in it, it's actually because it has trapped the bug or the leaf while it was flowing from, for instance, from a tree, the tree sap. Okay. And So if you have that bug in there, if you were to cut that amber in half and you could extract that bug, you've got perfect DNA. And scientists have done it, DNA of something maybe that hasn't lived for thousands of years. And so it's kind of a dualistic energy in this, that it's like they're showing me like an energetic bubble that is acting like amber. And it's acting like amber for past traumas, which hold that DNA or that past energetic pattern stuck within your energy field. But it can also be used in a good way to hold on to those positive memories. And there's advice here for using it in a positive way to hold on to those energetic, really good memories. But there's also advice in cutting away okay, so sometimes for a host of reasons, too many to go into in a video, we're at 47 minutes, we can hold on to past pain for just, like I said, too many reasons to name. We might think we're deserving of that pain. We might have believed what the person said, and we haven't done enough exploring to understand that person maybe just doesn't have enough experience to know what the heck they were talking about. Maybe we're in a relationship that damaged our self-worth to the point where we haven't gotten over it and healed it, and that too is like that. It's like trapping it in amber, and they're using amber because I started to say like a glass bubble, but the glass can be shattered, and then you can transmute the energy and release it. Even if the glass isn't shattered, you can still transmute the energy and release it. You can, I see why they're saying amber. In a lot of instances, you can transmute the energy by looking at the situation that caused the trauma from a more adult perspective, from a different perspective with more knowledge than what you had at the time that the event happened. With amber, it has become so solidified in your energetic pattern that it has become a solid truth. And it's going to take more work to cut that out. What is the advice for that? That's why this one came out. Blue Kyanite. When you have a traumatic event, blue Kyanite is a stone that they had me use for healing some of my own trauma. It's a stone used for opening the heart chakra and for healing. And it's like everything that's on here is true. The telepathic ability is finding true path, blah, blah, blah. But some of the way in which it does that is by opening the heart chakra. It's one of the first stones that they had me use, that and bloodstone. Using these stones, keeping them around you, may assist you in loosening up the amber. It would be like you can cut the amber and you're just going to cut through the bug. It's still going to be there. However, depending on how old the amber is, in other words, is it resin that was created from the tree like a couple of months ago? A year ago? This lifetime? Is it from way past in the, lifetimes ago? The blue kyanite will help to melt the amber around the object, so you're not transmuting the object within the amber. In other words, the injury, the pain. You are releasing it, which is going to be different than transmuting. You're releasing it altogether. So that is their advice for getting through that. For those of you that are dealing with some more stubborn traumatic events. They then had me pull from the deck. I haven't pulled from these in a little bit, I don't think. Of course, I haven't done readings in a little bit because I've been sick. So the first one that came out was, how can I validate myself today? This was more advice for helping to transmute things and to kind of get you over, because as you do this healing work, it can sometimes, when you've got something that's stuck, it can be kind of depressive in terms of reliving things, going through things that people have said and releasing it. Because the blue kyanite will help pull that up, but it also helps heal it by helping us look at it in a different way and releasing it. So their advice, the cards that they had come out, which they had me pull too, list one happy thing at the end of the day. If you can list 3 things, it was a good day. If you can list 5 things, it was a 5-point day. When you can recall 10 good things about the day, it was a winning day. If at least one of them was you, it was a beautiful day. This is kind of a game that I have sort of played in the past, that they've had me do when I was working through some really hard stuff. And I just needed to keep my mind on the goal and the prize and the fact that this too shall pass. I'm choosing to work through this. It's going to be fine. And I'm, pulling myself out of this. And so I'll read it again. And I'm sorry. One of these days I will figure out how to fix this. I look at this right now and I am seeing it just as I wrote it. And I realize that later when I went back and watched one of these, this is all backwards for you. So I'm going to read it again so you guys can write it down if you want to. I'll read it a little slower. List one happy thing at the end of the day. If you can list 3 things, it was a good day. If you can list 5, it was a 5-point day. When you can recall 10 good things about the day, it was a winning day. If at least one of them was you, it was a beautiful day. And let me clarify, this is based on the premise that when we're in our aligned space, finding 10 things that are good about a day should be easy. A blooming flower, a tree that we love that just grew or that was trimmed properly, a good meal, a good conversation with a friend, a nice phone call, happy news, petting a cat, taking a nice bath. If we can't find something, we can create something. But sometimes, like I said, when we're going through the hard work, the shadow work, it can be hard to remember that and to remember to stay that this is the shadow work. We are not the shadow. We are not locked into that. It's not who we are. We're just relooking at this stuff so that we can get rid of it. And doing stuff like this kind of helps to keep that energy up and helps to remind us that it's going to be okay and that we're fine. And then the second one that they had me pull was, you are an earth angel. And again, this came up in the other reading. An angel simply means messenger. So it says, the word angel means messenger. We are all here on this planet in this life to learn and grow. Sometimes we may need help along the way. God sends earth angels to smile, love, and assist where and when needed. When we are listening, He sends us. And that was the end of your reading. So this is the energy until for the Pisces. Well, again, there was a two-part there. If you're not on this twin flame journey thing, then this energy for you they're giving me like it could last a little bit longer than the end of February, because it depends on how much you choose to actively participate in doing your healing work. We're all going to receive our lessons. We're all going to get the healing work handed to us one way or the other, because that's what we chose before we came here. Our higher self will see to it that he, she, it learns what we set before us to learn. If you think of us, like this 3D version of us, as being the child, and the higher self of us as being the parent, when we choose not to do our shadow work, when we choose not to learn our lessons, when we choose not to do what we're supposed to do, it's like the child looking at you and giving you the finger and saying, I'm not going to do that. Well, at some point, you pick that child up. You might even swat their ass. And you put them in the room and you say, then fine, go stay in your room until you can be polite and act like you know how to be in polite company, because you're not coming out here and talking to me like that. Or however you discipline. In my case, that was exactly what I said to my kids. You're not coming out until you can be in polite company. And sometimes it would take them a couple of hours, and sometimes it would take them 5 minutes to come and apologize and get their act straight. We're kind of like that. Yes, we have free will, but what we forget sometimes is that the we that has free will is not just this shell of us. The we that was given free will was the higher self of us. So as where this shell has some free will too, because we have a veil in place that helps us to forget all the past lifetimes and all the other experiences that we've had, so that we can learn more fully from a fresh perspective. We also have that higher self part of us that also has free will, and it chose to learn a certain lesson, or it chose to have a certain experience. And if we refuse, it's going to make it happen for itself, because that's what it wanted. And why the hell would it go through this whole pain of life unless it got to do that? That's kind of the higher self's attitude. So having said that, this energy will last as long as is required until, and it happens for all of us. So this reading could be valuable for anyone who happens to be going through this issue. I'll try to put up a title that indicates that. But that's going through their healing work. But for the Pisces right now, because of the astrological alignments, it's going to be very strong for the Pisces. So what they're saying is that things like using the blue kyanite can help, because it will help to open that heart chakra and help to cleanse some of that past energy. They also, as I said, they had me use the bloodstone, but they actually had me, for some reason, where you're at in your path seems to be beyond bloodstone. Bloodstone was first, and in healing some of my deeper traumas. And then after that, I could handle the blue kyanite, and I definitely felt the difference if you're sensitive to stones. I am still working my way up to Jasper, which heals past life traumas and childhood traumas. They're not advising Jasper, they're advising the blue kyanite. So my guess is that some of these wounds for the Pisces that are drawn to this reading are going to be pretty deep and pretty strong. I used to actually I had 2 blue kyanite stones that were about yay long, and I held one in each hand as I went to sleep at night. And so I would release things through my dreams and have epiphanies when I woke up sometimes in the morning, or I would meditate with them, for what it's worth, if that helps. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and end this. Hopefully this will only last through February, and I wish you all the best in your healing journey, and have a wonderful night. Oh, please hit the like and subscribe button. It's really, really appreciated. And I could use a little help right now with the algorithms. The bronchitis kind of threw me off.